Good day, everyone. Merry Christmas, and also to you, sir. Happy Christmas. Today, I will discuss the silent features of the rules of criminal procedures, especially rules 110 to 126. These rules govern the procedural framework for criminal cases in the Philippines. They ensure fairness, the efficiency in the administrations of justice. Let's explore these rules and their importance in safeguarding the rights of both the accused of the state. First is the Rule 110. Rule 110, which is the prosecutions of offenses. Rule 110, how criminal actions are initiated. It states that all criminal actions must be prosecuted in the name of the peoples of the Philippines and must be initiated by filing the complaint or informations. A complaint is filed by the offended party while information is prepared by the prosecutor. The rules emphasize that the venue must be the court with territorial jurisdictions over the offense. The designations of the offense and the statement of acts constituting the offense must be clear. This ensures that the accused understand the charge against them, a vital aspects of due process. Next is Rule 111. Rule 111, which is the prosecutions of civil actions. These rules addresses the interplay between criminal and civil actions. It provides that civil actions for damages arising from a crime is deemed instituted with the criminal actions unless expressly waived or reserved. These rules prevents multiple proceedings and promotes judicial efficiency. Next is Rule 112. Rule 112 is the preliminary investigations. What is preliminary investigations? Preliminary investigations determines whether the sufficient grounds to engender the well-founded belief that a crime has been committed and that the respondent is probably guilty. These rules protects individuals from unwarranted prosecutions and ensures the cases with merit proceed to trial. The rights of the respondents during the investigations, such as the rights to examine evidence and submit counter affidavits, are highlighted to prevent abuse of authority. Next is Rule 113. Rule 113, arrest rule. Rule 113 is the arrest rule. Governs the procedures of lawful arrest with or without warrant. Arrest without a warrant is permissible only under the specific circumstances, such as when the person is caught in the act committing a crime. The rule emphasizes the necessity of informing the persons arrested of the reasons for their arrest and their rights, including rights to remain silent. Next is the bail, which is the Rule 114. Bail. These rules provides for the rights of the accused to bail, except in cases where evidence of guilt strong and the offense is punishable by reclusion perpetua or death. Bail ensures that the accused can prepare their defense without unnecessary detentions. Rule 115. Rights of the accused. Rule 115 enumerates the rights of the accused, including the rights to presume innocence, the rights to speedy trial, and the rights to be informed of the charges. Last is the rights are fundamental to ensuring a fair trial. Rule 116. Rule 116 is the arraignment and plea. Arraignment is a critical stage of criminal case where the accused formally informed of the charges against them in a language they understand. During the process, the accused enters a plea, either guilty or not guilty, or in some cases no contest. This ensures the accused is aware of the accusations and has the opportunity to respond. The arraignment must occur without unnecessary delay, safeguarding the accused's rights to a fair trial. And next is the Rule 117. Rule 117 is the motion to quash. The motion to quash is a legal tool that allows the accused to challenge the validity of the complaint or affirmations against them. The grounds for the motions include lack of jurisdictions, improper improper venue, or failure to charge an offense. If the court grants the motions, the case may be dismissed or require to refiling the corrections. The rule ensures that only valid cases proceed to trial. Next is the Rule 118. Rule 118 is the pre-trial. The pre-trial stage is designed to streamline the trial process by resolving preliminary issues during pre-trial. Parties may agree stipulations of fact, identify issues for trial, mark evidence, and explore plea bargaining. This step reduces unnecessary delays, focuses the trials on contested matters, and promotes judicial efficiency. Next is the Rule 119. The Rule 119 is the trial. The trial is the heart of the criminal process, where the prosecutions and defense present their evidence and arguments. Witnesses they examine and cross-examine, and the court evaluate the evidence. The court evaluates the evidence. Rule 119 emphasizes the principle of a speedy trial, ensuring justice is delivered promptly while respecting the rights of both of the accused and the state. Next is the Rule 121. Rule 121. Rule 121 is the new trial or reconsiderations. These rules provides remedies for addressing errors or newly discovered evidence. After judgments, a trial may be granted if errors prejudice the accused, if new evidence could potentially alter the verdict. Reconsiderations allows the court to review judgments for possible corrections. These remedies uphold fairness and prevent miscarriage of justice. In other word, in other way, new trial is the new trial is the a way is the way of conducting a review and etc. Rule 112 appeal in Rule 112 allows the parties to seek a higher court's review of the trial court's decisions. Appeals are typically based on questions of law and substantial procedural errors. This rule ensures that errors at the trial level can be recorded and maintaining the integrity of the justice system. And Rule 113 is Procedure of Municipal Trial Courts, or MTC, provides guidelines for the conduct of criminal cases and municipal trial courts. These courts handle less serious offenses such as violations of city or municipal ordinance and minor criminal cases. The rules emphasizes simplified procedures to expedite the resolutions of cases, ensuring accessibility and efficiency in the administrations of justice at the local level. In Rule 114 is the procedures of Court of Appeals. Governs the handling of criminal cases elevated to the Court of Appeals. It outlines the procedures for filing appeals from regional trial courts. The Court's Appeals reviews the case based on the records and briefs submitted, focusing on errors of the law of fact. These rules ensures ensures thorough and fair review decisions to maintain judicial integrity. Rule 125. In Rule 125 is the procedures in the Supreme Court. In the Supreme Court, applies the criminal cases brought before the Supreme Court, which is the final arbiter of legal dispute. The rule details the process for filing petitions for a review on certiorari, which are limited to questions of law. The Supreme Court's rule under the rule is to ensure the lower courts decisions comply with the constitutions and applicable laws, safeguarding the justice at the highest level. And the last part is the rules of criminal procedures, particularly rules 110 to 126, form of backbone of the criminal justice system. They ensures that justice is administered fairly, protecting the rights of both the accused and the state. By understanding these rules, we appreciate the balance, the strike between accountability and safeguarding individual freedoms. And thank you for watching, and hope these discussions has provide valuable insights into the silent features of the rules of criminal procedures. If you have any questions or need further clarifications, feel free to reach out, and have a great day.